As we are aware, a few years back, there was a rumor circulating that the world would come to an end on the 21st of December, 2012. Following this, certain scientists, along with individuals from NASA, conducted research on the subject. At the start of this film, we are presented with an American geologist who communicates with Austin in India, discovering that a solar flare is causing the Earth to heat up. Subsequently, we observe the geologist traveling to Washington, D.C. Upon his arrival, he informs the chief of staff of all the information he has gathered. After listening to all the information from Drain, the chief of staff takes him to the U.S. president. After this, we are shown the scene of 2010, and they hold a secret meeting with the president and tell him that our Earth is about to end, and they all start a secret project now. After this, the Chinese army officers were also starting their one mission. They were building a spaceship. That spaceship had the capacity to hold 1 lakh people. We also see one more man there who is working in this space. He was working in a ship. After this, we are shown by the president's daughter. When she comes to know that the world will end in 2012, she hides the painting of Mona Lisa there, because she is very much loved, and then comes the year 2012. Here we see a science fiction writer named Jackson. We see that he wakes up in a hurry. He had to take both his children on the campaign. After this, he goes to his ex-wife's house. His ex-wife is with one of her friends, used to reside there. Now Jackson visits Forest Park for a campaign with his 2 children. When he arrives and looks around, he is astonished, as he often visited with his wife, and now notices the place has become quite barren. There was once a pond, now completely dried up. Jackson now traverses the forest trace. Entering was a legal offense, but Jackson proceeds and takes his 2 children with him. Due to Jackson's actions, the military personnel, they arrive there and take Jackson along with his 2 children. Then we notice another man present there, who had been observing Jackson from afar using binoculars. Now, upon reaching the military base, they encounter the geologist, Train. Train engages in a conversation with Jackson, mentioning that he possesses his book. Following this, Train instructs his military personnel to allow Jackson to leave the premises. Now, we observe the man who had been standing at a distance, watching through binoculars. He approaches Jackson and inquires, "What did the army personnel tell you?" Well, he tells that man that the army personnel have informed me that this place is not safe, and people should definitely not come here. Now Jackson was resting in the camp, but he hears a man's voice speaking, so Jackson decides to go and see who it is. It turns out, he was the same man who had been observing Jackson through the telescope. Jackson recognizes him and realizes that he is the man who speaks and provides all the information about the end of the world to the people. He also shares this with Jackson there. He mentions that the Earth's plates will change their position very quickly, and our Earth will be completely destroyed, due to which many big disasters will come, and everything will be destroyed. But Jackson does not listen to him, and he goes away from there. Next day, we see that Jackson was with his friend. They were shopping in a mall when a very big earth falls there. Jackson's wife calls him and tells him to come home soon with the children. Next, Jackson now brings his children home and takes them home with him. He leaves his son with his ex-wife and heads to work. Jackson was actually the chauffeur for a wealthy man. He was tasked with taking the man's 2 sons to the airport. Then we see a massive earthquake hit California. Jackson quickly gets in the car to rescue his family. The quake was so severe that all of California sank into the ground. Everyone was in panic, and cars were being swallowed by the earth. The entire system overheated. It wasn't by its own doing. Bills began to be constructed here, and people started being buried in this land. Anyone who died here suffered from dysentery. This earthquake was extremely dreadful. All the people in California were killed because of it. Now, with great difficulty, Jackson finally reaches the airport, having saved everyone's life along the way. When Jackson arrives at the airport, he informs his ex-wife that the government is engaged in a secret mission. In this mission, they are constructing a spaceship, and there is a map that leads to this spaceship. That map is only possessed by the man who can view Jackson through a telescope, was watching them. Now Jackson approaches that man in the same park, and a huge Vulcan arrives. One is overwhelmed by the failure of a massive war. There, Jackson and his family obtained that map. The Vulcan was extremely dangerous, yet Jackson, with great effort, manages to get his family out. From the map, they learn that the spaceship is in China, and to reach China, they require a large plane. Now Jackson goes to his boss with his entire family. There were 2 twin sons of his boss, along with his friend, and a pilot named Sa. All of them managed to escape by boarding a ship to Spain. In this film, we also witness the logistic train speaking with his father. His father was a musician, and they were on a journey aboard a ship. The train was expressing to his father that their means of living was nearing its end, and both were shedding many tears. His father was also aware that their lives weren't eternal. Additionally, his father understood that the ship on which they were traveling, that ship will also sink very soon. Meanwhile, in one online conference, the president of the US tells the truth to everyone, and there the president also tells that he is not going in any spaceship. He will stay here and sacrifice his life along with his people. Here we also see the attendant and the president's daughter, Laura, who have now left for China sitting in one pen. On the other hand, Jackson had also reached China with his family. Along with Jackson, his family was also present there. Jackson, their journey was incredibly perilous, and eventually, after much time, they arrived in China. However, during this period, their pilot Sasha passed away. Meanwhile, it's revealed that the US president also perishes, along with everyone else on Earth 1. Additionally, Train's father, who was aboard Ship 1, also meets his end because a massive enemy infiltrated the sea, affecting the ship where Train's father was. Following this, we learn about the ship where Edfriend's father met his demise. Furthermore, Edfriend discovers a crucial detail. His friend in the sea is, in fact, his father. The name of Ostfascist has now come to an end. Train has discovered that everyone is dying, and only those individuals who possess 1 billion can survive. They must provide this money to secure a place on the spaceship. Train feels deeply saddened upon hearing this news. He remarks that more people could have been saved, yet only those with financial means are able to board the spaceship. Meanwhile, it is observed that the Chinese army has arrived, and Jackson's superior grants permission for individuals holding a green card to board that spaceship. However, Jackson's family can't board the spaceship as Jackson lacks a green card. We also observe the man on this spaceship mission. He lets his mother and brother in, but denies Jackson's family. After much effort, Jackson's family manages to enter secretly, unnoticed by others. Many more people were also trying to board the spaceship. However, the leader there prohibited them from coming, as they learned that a massive ship was approaching from the ocean. They had merely 28 minutes, necessitating the launch of the spaceship. Meanwhile, Jackson's boss and his 2 sons remained outside. Despite having a green card, they couldn't board the spaceship. When the spaceship finally began its departure, Jackson's ex-wife's friend tragically passed away. This situation left everyone deeply concerned, and during this time, when he speaks to them, he says that, for humanity's sake, we should let everyone in. They agree, open the spaceship door, and everyone outside comes in. Meanwhile, Checking One was entering the ship with his family via a secret route when a genetic issue caused the door not to close. Then water entered, and it seemed the spaceship would sink due to the water inside. He had arrived because the tool was jammed in the hydraulic system of the spacecraft, and until that tool was removed, the spacecraft's door could not be closed. If the door remained open, the spacecraft's machinery would not activate. Jackson now attempts to dislodge the tool, because if he fails, everyone would perish. The years of effort put into constructing the spacecraft would be for naught, and all the people aboard would meet their demise. Meanwhile, water was steadily seeping into the spacecraft, leaving Jackson with very limited time. After much effort, Jackson removes the tool from the engine, and the spaceship starts moving. After a struggle, everyone is saved. Meanwhile, the world is destroyed, leaving only a few in the spaceship who are happy. Their new year begins, and thus the movie 2012 ends. As we are aware, a few years back, there was a rumor circulating that the world would come to an end on the 21st of December, 2012. Following this, certain scientists, along with individuals from NASA, conducted research on the subject. At the start of this film,